Welcome to Happy Homes and Gardens. I'm your host. My name is Daphne Royse. I am a real estate broker, architecture, and interior designer. With her beautiful voice and graceful gesture, it will be hard to guess the person performing on stage is only 13 years old. Alliana Lili Yang is a vocalist and has performed all over the country, has also been invited to perform in France, Italy, and Austria. Alliana sings in 8 different languages. Let's welcome Alliana, who will share her story with us. Hello, Alliana.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. Please tell us a little bit about you and when did you discover that you have singing talent?
So I think I was 3 or 4 years old. And I always kind of grew up with music. My parents always took me to the symphony and to the opera, and to see different musicals. So I was always kind of surrounded by music. So I was sitting in my kitchen and I was playing with the magnets on my fridge and I started singing a song and my mom heard me and she was like, oh my gosh. So she started recording me and she noticed that I was singing it like perfectly on tune. And then she took me to this production of Aladdin Jr. and it was a musical where they were singing and dancing and acting. And during the intermission, I told my mom, I want to do this. So she signed me up with a musical theater program. And I started training in dance more intensively and in singing as well and acting. And then when I was 7, I started to take private vocal lessons for classical. Because we figured out I have more of a classical voice, and I really, really loved singing classical. So,
Have you played any music instruments?
yes, I started playing. I used to play piano at 3 years old, and then I think I stopped around 5 years old. Because I started with the musical theater company and I didn't have lots of time to practice piano, but I have been taking music theory, and I hope to continue with my piano studies. So, yeah.
And what kind of a training did you receive at the beginning of your singing career?
Yes, so I started with musical theater training, and then I think when we discovered that I had more of a classical voice was when my favorite musical, Phantom of the Opera, um, we went to go see it on Broadway, I think, and um, I wanted to sing Think of Me from Phantom of the Opera. So I started training with my musical theater instructor in that song, and then we realized, oh, like classical would fit her voice very well. So then I started training in classical, and yeah, the rest is history.
Is there any differences how to sing differently in the musical training and the classical?
Yes, so the techniques are quite different, um, each their own, and I I think both of them are probably equally as hard, um, and each of them really takes lots of hard work and consistency to, achieve good technique. Um, yeah, so I spend personally more time on classical technique because that is the main category of music I've been performing in. Um, I I think for classical, it was I had to work on it a little bit more. Um, and yeah, it's definitely a bit different, a more rounder sound, I feel like, than in musical theater. So when I'm performing a concert and I'm singing both genres, I kind of have to switch techniques. So, yeah.
Just out of my curiosity, I know you sing different languages, and I know you do not learn those languages at school. Is it difficult to learn eight languages?
Yes. So I sing a pretty big um repertoire. So it involves different languages. I sing in Italian, French, German, Spanish, Latin, Russian, Ukrainian, and English. Um, and for when I choose a song and it's in a different language, um, being in San Francisco is very good because there's a diverse group of people. Um, so I have like a different instructor for each language to practice my pronunciation, make sure I'm saying everything correctly. Um, but definitely it's um, harder to sing in some languages than it is in others. One of my favorite languages to sing in is Italian. I just love the open vowels. It's just really beautiful. Yeah.
Do you know the meaning of what you're singing, and how would you memorize them?
Yeah. So, um, when I first get a song, I go do the translation word for word first, and then I start working on the pronunciation with my vocal coach. And um, as as I keep working on the piece, I keep reading the translation as well, along with the words. So it's kind of like I think I have photographic memory, so seeing the two like together kind of I just associate the words with each other. And I speak Italian, so it's a little bit easier then that way I like know a few words.
What grade are you right now at school?
I'm in 10th grade.
And you are 13.
hmm Yeah.
Wow.
I skipped 2 grades. I skipped 6th grade and I skipped 8th grade. Um, I like to be challenged in my schoolwork, so like I can keep working and keep learning new things. Um, so that's one of the main reasons that I skipped grades. Um, I'm I'm online school because of my performance schedule. Um, so that definitely helps work around different events that I have or different performances, rehearsals, and I really love it. Yeah.
Do you actually missing going to school?
Yeah, sometimes I do, but I have a really amazing group of friends that I meet through everywhere else, so I don't think I'm missing out on too much.
And what plans do you have for college?
I am planning to go to in-person college. I have a few dream colleges that I really hope to get into. Next year would be junior year, so that's when I would start really working on college work. But yeah, I my dream college is Juilliard. I'm actually training with them. I'm doing a college course for music theory with them. So it's my second year with them.
It's online school because
Online.
that's in New York, right?
Yeah, yeah, that course is online, so people can do it from different countries, different places. So it's really accessible.
Interesting. So they actually do online, see how you perform, how you learn what they teach you.
Yeah,
Very interesting.
yes.
What do you most enjoy about singing?
I love I love looking at the audience and seeing their smiles and joy. I really love to bring people happiness. It kind of when I go to a performance, I'm kind of like taken out of reality and like really in the performance. Um, so it kind of distracts me from outside life, it distracts people from outside life and like daily life and really brings a magic to it. So I really enjoy giving that to people. I also really love hearing how, like, after my performances, if people come up to me and tell me how, like, they enjoyed my performance or how I helped them in some sort of a way, make them happier, um, that really touches me, and I love that. Yeah.
Can you see the audience when you're on the big stage?
Yes, in some venues I can actually see most of the audience. It really does depend on how bright the lights are. But yeah, I love looking out to the audience and seeing people's faces.
I know you started singing when you was 3. What do you want to be when you grow up?
Yes, I really want to continue in opera and become a professional opera singer. I really want to perform internationally, um, do concerts around the world, and perform in operas. Um, my dream, my dream places to perform would probably be the Met is my number one. The Met Opera. I would really love to perform there, as well as all of the beautiful places in Europe and in Australia. Yeah.
Do you know anybody sing what you sing at your age?
Um, I I think I don't have many contacts who sing like specifically like my kind of repertoire like opera at this age, but I do have lots of contacts with um people older than me, like college students all the way ranging to adults. Professional opera singers, and they really help me with giving me advice or tips and tricks. So I really appreciate that.
Do you have other dreams you would like to achieve?
I would also really love to be on Broadway too, as some of my dream roles, like Christine in Phantom of the Opera or Glinda in Wicked. I would love to do that as well as opera. Um, and I would also maybe love to do some more acting too. Yeah.
Interesting. Do you have to take a training for acting?
Yes, yes. I train with ACT here in San Francisco. Um, it's since I was 8 years old, I believe. Yeah, so they're amazing. I've been training with them, and I continue my training with different theaters that I do, different productions. I always continue to learn and grow. So yeah.
And right now, how often do you have to perform or travel to perform?
Mhm. I perform it depends monthly. I think definitely in September was my busiest month. I had a performance almost every weekend, sometimes on the weekdays. But yeah, usually I would say almost every week. Um, yeah. Traveling, yeah, for like really far, like out of state or out of country, I think I only do a few times a year. Um, but I do travel around the Bay Area to perform in different venues. And I just finished a run of A Christmas Carol, and I drove to San Jose for rehearsals and to the Montalvo Mansion, um, which was amazing, amazing to perform at. So it's beautiful.
Montalvo?
Hmm.
I love that place.
Gorgeous place. Yeah.
A gorgeous place. I remember I used to be there almost every week because I was studying architecture and we had to do
Mhm.
sketches.
Oh,
That's the place.
yes, it's really gorgeous.
Mhm. How many days you have to do the training if you perform during the weekends?
Yeah, so it does, my training does kind of depend on my performance schedule. So if I have like a really big concert, then I would be training like almost every day for a while. And yeah, I train almost every other day, I would say. It really does depend on my schedule.
How many hours you had to do training every other day?
So I meet with my vocal instructor, I my language instructor. I practice at home by myself. Um, so it a few hours. I would say probably not more than 4 hours, but um, yeah, a day.
You have been to many big theaters like a Carnegie Hall and Wells Recital Hall. On what stage would you like to perform in the future? Do you have anything that you want to be more like long-term or permanent performance location?
Yes, I would love to again perform at the Met Opera. I would also really love to continue performing with the SF Opera. Um, I've been, I think my first production that I did with them was The Ring, that they did a few years ago. And I've done 3 productions with them so far. Or 4? 3 or 4. Yeah. But yeah, I love the the opera house and working with them. But yeah, I would love to perform all around the world.
How do you perform with them? By projects or by role?
Yeah, so um I I usually just audition for production. Um I haven't been part of more than 2 productions in the season. I'm usually just in one out of the season. Um but um For the chorus, I think they can either choose like production for production or just do like all of the productions of the season.
Do you have a choice for the role?
Yeah, they pick you for sure. You audition kind of for like any of the youth productions that they have that have youth acting roles, and then they kind of just invite you to whichever one they feel like you fit best.
You definitely look more mature than your age, but
Yeah.
I would never guess if you never told me how old you are.
Thank you.
Is that the comment people normally make to you?
Yeah, they always tell me that. And I think that also plays a pretty big part in my performing career because I kind of grew out of the kid roles very fast, like around 8 years old. And then I'm too young to play adult roles, so right now I'm kind of in the middle. But yeah, I definitely always hear that I look a little bit older and more mature than I am.
You mentioned you like to travel. Where would you like to go?
I went to Italy actually last year around this time. And I that was my first time going to Europe and I loved it so much. So I would definitely love to travel around Europe um and Asia. Um I I I don't really have a main like preference on where to travel. Just anywhere is just really exciting for me because I love to travel. Um, Maybe France. I would really love to go to France. Yeah.
You always go to major cities or you actually perform in the small towns?
So yeah, I I do both. It does depend where I'm scheduled to perform. But for example, in Italy, we performed kind of in the smaller towns, and then we also went to the Vatican and Rome. So it was kind of everywhere.
What do you like to do outside of school and work?
I love to spend time with my friends and my family. Um, I like to read, I like to go on hikes, I like to exercise, and I love to draw.
Oh, tell us more.
Um, I started um, pencil sketching at 4 years old, I want to say. I stopped going to the classes 2 years ago, because my performance schedule kind of didn't give me time to do it, but I still do draw um, occasionally when I have time. Yeah.
That would be perfect. When you travel, you can take your sketchbook
Yeah.
and just do all the sketches, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
So any other things you'd like to share with our audience and maybe your future performances?
Oh, yes. I have a future performance coming up on January 25th. It's for Ivaro Italia, a fashion designer, and they're having their event at Palace Hotel here in San Francisco. So I'll be performing there, and that's very exciting.
Wonderful. Is that fashion show?
Yes, fashion show. Yeah. And I'm performing a set, so a few songs in between two parts. So I'll be singing um, four songs.
Are you going to wear her beautiful gowns?
Yes. Yeah.
She has beautiful gowns, that's for sure.
Gorgeous. Gorgeous.
Okay, tell us how people can follow you or contact you if they want to invite you to perform and anything else about you.
Yeah, so everything is on my website. Just my full name, AllianaLiliYang.com. I'm on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, so you can find me everywhere. So yeah, I keep everyone posted mainly on my Instagram and my website.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Alliana. I really appreciate your time today
Thank you
and
so
your
much for
busy
inviting me.
schedule.
Yes, thank you.
Wish you succeed and looking forward to your other performances.
Thank you so much. Happy New Year to everyone.